So, welcome to the High School Seniors Summer To-Do List. I'm Eleanor Ferrante, owner and coach of Square Peg Square Hole Coaching. I am a college admissions and career coach.
And I'm Vicki Vollweiler. I'm the founder of College Financial Prep.
So, today we are going to talk you through what you need to do for the summer. There are a number of tasks that have to happen before your child can apply to college. And we want to make sure that you are fully aware of all the things you need to do. This is our college timeline. This encapsulates all the things that Vicki and I work with our students to help make sure they are totally ready for school and to apply. As you can see, we start freshman year and take you all the way through senior year. But tonight we're going to focus where you see the arrow on the senior year summer. Things specifically that need to be happening now in order to make sure that you've got your forms filled out, your essays, and everything is ready to go. So there are 7 main things, or 6 I should say, that you want to do this summer to make sure you are prepared. You want to get active, you want to create your activity sheet, write your essays, maybe, as an asterisk there, take the ACT or SAT. You want to build your college list and you want to start your applications. So Vicki and I are going to take you through each of these events so that you know what needs to happen for each of those pieces. So the first place you want to start with is getting active. Right? So a lot of our kids right now, they were supposed to be doing things this summer. They were going to be working at camps or working at gyms potentially, all sorts of different places. Maybe they were going to do an internship or do some research, and a lot of them have nothing to do right now that the COVID's hit and it's taken away a lot of the opportunities. So many of the kids are saying, well, what am I going to do? There's nothing to do. That's not true. There's still plenty to do out there. Right? There are plenty of volunteer opportunities that are out there for the kids, and that's a great thing to do because then they're giving back, providing information to other people potentially, or just helping others feel good, and it's good for them. Your local library, if you belong to a religious organization, a lot of places are looking for community service help. Food pantries are looking for help, so there are plenty of places for the kids to get involved. Obviously, they can still work. A lot of the local stores are still looking for people to help them. So there are opportunities still. If they really want to and you're comfortable with it, they can still work. They can learn. There's a ton of online classes that are happening right now. And it's a great opportunity for them to explore something new and different that they haven't done before. Right? So whether you want to do something such as master class where you can take tennis with Serena Williams, or you can learn about conservation through Jane Goodall, or you want to do edX or Udacity. There are just a ton of online platforms. Some free, some cost a little bit. You can go through your library. They have tons of online classes that are free there. And then it's giving your kids something to do, something new and different that they can maybe learn something about themselves that they didn't know before. And of course, they can always create. There are plenty of opportunities to get out there, be artistic, build something, do something fun and different. My daughter got bored over the past couple months. She built an Adirondack chair. Nice. Right? So you never really know what you can do until you put yourself out there and you start doing things and learning and exploring. So highly recommend that if your kids haven't done any of these things yet, that there's still time to do it. Don't let them tell you there's not. So once they're starting to do these activities, well, you want to build your activity sheet as well, right? So all the things that they've done all the way through 9th grade through today count for their college applications. So a great activity for them to do is to build their activity sheet. Have them sit down and just brainstorm. Where did I spend my time? Go back through calendars to see what they used to do. If you have any kind of folder with all their awards, dig through that and see what are the activities that they did. They should list them. They can write down if they had a position with them, whether they were a recording secretary, president, they were a member, whatever it might be. Right? What grades were they doing it? And then write a description. Their activity sheet for the college application is basically their resume. Now, it needs to be in a specific format for those schools, but they can start writing it down now, whether they use a resume format, they just set it up in a Google Doc, anything. Just get them writing it down because they're going to need this. Common App allows for up to 10 activities, and the Coalition app allows for up to 8. Yeah, step back right there. You may or may not have heard those terms before. The Common App is an application platform that many, many schools utilize for their application. Gone are the days from when we were kids where you would handwrite out an application. And even gone are the days where you have every school has their own online application. Now most schools fall under the Common App. This covers most of the Northeast, a lot of the very southern schools like Florida, California, and the Northwest. The other application that's popular is the Coalition app. That's a lot of mid-Atlantic to southern schools. The number of schools utilizing the Coalition app is decreasing, but if you want to apply to University of Maryland, you're still going to need to know it and to fill it out. So once you have your activities pulled together, there are other things that you can do this summer, like write the essay. Kids tend to get stuck on this. They're not really sure what to do. They're not sure how to write it. They think it needs to be an English essay, but it's not. The essay is a marketing tool. And the key thing to remember here is that the person who's reading it needs to walk away going, wow, this kid is going to be an asset to my school. So how do you do that? Well, you focus on your strengths. You focus on what's important to you, right? So who you are, what are the things that describe you? If I were going to describe myself in a college essay, I would tell people I'm a student. I love school. I'm not happy unless I'm learning something new. I like to meet new people and get connected to them. I get things done. I have the ability to put things in the best possible order. So it makes me really good at organizing. Right? So things that are my strengths. What are your values? What are the things that are really important to you? What are the issues that are important to you? And it's important that the kids tell their story, not their grandmother's story, not their favorite athlete's story. Invariably, when I get an essay from a kid, I think, wow, I would love to invite grandma to go to this college, right? Because they tell the story of the other person. And it's important if somebody inspires you to include that information, but you really want to focus on yourself and be creative. Remember, not an English essay. I would much rather that you have your essay read by a marketing professional than by an English teacher. Nothing against the English teachers. There's some of them over in our school district who are great at this, but the bulk of them look at it differently, and you want to really sell yourself in the essay. So when we talk about the essay, there are a couple to keep in mind. There is the essay, which is also known as the personal statement. This is a general essay that's going to go to all of your schools, whether it be through the Common App, the Coalition app. They have different prompts or questions, but they're very similar in terms. New this year is the COVID-19 essay. So what did you do differently because of COVID? How were you impacted? This is not meant to be I'm going to whine about the things I couldn't do. This is meant to be, there were some serious things that affected me, whether it be you didn't have the technology at home to go to school properly. You had to watch your younger siblings so your parents could work. Maybe your parents lost their jobs, right? So it's those type of things. It could also be the flip side, though, is I was trying to find something to do and really wanted to make a difference. So I started a collection for food for a local food pantry. Or I started, my niece is doing this right now, online dance lessons, right? So, or I'm reading stories to little kids. There are plenty of things that people are doing now on the positive side. So this COVID essay is giving our students a chance to talk about those things in addition to writing their regular essay. Really important, because as I listen to all of the college admissions directors, and I've been on a lot of webinars with them the last couple of weeks about this, they know that COVID is impacting our lives, but they really don't want the personal statement to be focused on that. Tell that story in the COVID essay. And there are also a lot of schools are asking for supplemental essays, especially now. They want to know what's making you resilient, what makes you good for this school, why are you interested in this major? And so the supplemental essays are, again, another way for the students to focus on themselves, their strengths, their values, and prove to the school that they're going to be an asset when they get there. So what else are they looking at? Well, schools are looking at the ACT and SAT, and if you're from around here, a lot of you might know already that the ACT has been canceled pretty much everywhere for this coming weekend. So if your kid was scheduled to take it someplace local, it's not happening. And a lot of the schools over the course of the last few months have had to cancel the ACT or the SAT. So our kids are not having the same opportunities to take these tests as previous years have had. So the term you might be hearing a lot of now is test optional. A lot of colleges are saying that they're going test optional, but what does that really mean? So basically it means that the student has their choice. Do they or don't they send their test scores to a university or college when they apply? Many schools prior to this year had already gone test optional. There were about 1,000 that were out there. And the schools ranged from St. John's and George Washington University all the way through to University of Chicago. So it was a pretty wide range. As the months have ticked by, more and more schools are now going test optional. In fact, it's pretty hard to find a school that's not, except for University of Alabama. Some reason they've decided that you still need to send your scores. So you have a lot of choices now. So kids who are not able to take the test, or maybe took it once and didn't do so well, if they don't feel comfortable sending their scores, they don't have to. But I get asked this all the time. So does that mean I don't have to take the SAT or the ACT? And the answer is no, you still have to take the test if you can. And the reason for that, and Vicki's going to talk a little bit more about that, is because the schools look at that for merit aid and scholarships. Right? So if you have the opportunity, you should be trying to take the test. If you can't take the test, and there are plenty of kids who just won't have that opportunity, it's okay. Right? It's the schools understand. They know that a lot of kids can't do it, but try your best to do it if you can. All right, so all of that being said, so far, the things that your students should be doing for the summer, right? They should be finding something to do. They should be pulling together their activities. They should be writing their essays, right? Studying for the ACT or the SAT, and they should also be building their college list. Right? This is the list of schools that really fit them, or they think fits them, at least initially, right? And this is a list of schools that they're going to start to really explore and find what makes sense for them, what do they like, what do they not like. Kids are at a little bit of a disadvantage this year because you can't go visit the schools. Although I just heard today that a couple of schools are opening for tours, but it's a very small amount. Most schools are not allowing visitors on campus. Right? So you want to look at a school and say, well, is this a good fit for me academically, socially, financially? It's really important to find the place that makes sense because you're going to spend 4 years there and you want to be happy and you want to do your best. So what do you need to look for? Well, in terms of academic fit, one of the first things you need to do is look at the school in terms of what are the admissions requirements and have you taken them all? Right? So a lot of schools are looking for 3 or 4 years of science. They're looking for 3 or 4 years of math. They might be looking for honors classes or AP classes. What are they looking for and do you fit in there? Check out the freshman profile. This will give you a good feel for the GPAs of the freshmen, the test scores that they've gotten, where are they coming from, right? So if you look at a school like the University of Virginia or College of William and Mary, those are public schools down in Virginia, and they take about 2/3 of their class are in state. Some schools, you'll see, like University of Wisconsin is, by legislative order, are now taking more in-state kids than out-of-state kids. So what's the freshman profile look like? Do you fit in there? What's the program rigor in terms of academics that they're looking for? Right? So your kid should be taking the most rigorous academics that they possibly can in high school. But now think about what that means in terms of college. Do you want a school where everybody's at the top of their game? And you're really struggling to try and keep up with them potentially, right? Or do you want a school where everybody's kind of like you? Or do you want a school where you're at the top and sitting there? In which case, you might be a good candidate for an honors college. You need to see academically, where do you fit in? You know, for some kids, going to an Ivy means that they are with all kids just like them. And for some kids, that means they're going to be struggling a little bit. So what do you fit? Where do you fit? And what makes sense for you? Besides the academic side, you also want to look at the social fit. What's the setting? Right? I work with some students who absolutely positively would never go to a school in the middle of nowhere. All right, so that rules out Penn State, it rules out Cornell and Ithaca. I always tell them, does that rule out Notre Dame as well, right? Typically, you know, it's officially in the middle of nowhere. Other kids They do not want to be anywhere near a city, right? So they might love Boston College, but would hate BU. So what makes sense? Do you want a really big school or a smaller school? I was on a webinar today with a number of smaller schools, and a lot of kids say, no, I don't want that, but they're really missing out because so much can be given to you in a smaller school setting. You get more one-on-one time with professors. They really know who you are. So it's a very different fit. What are the activities that are there? Is it important for you to be able to play a sport or to join a particular club or to sing or to play an instrument? Do you want to do community service? What are you looking for from a school? Do you want to go abroad? One of the schools I was on with today, 100% of the kids go abroad. It's part and parcel of what their package is. It's kind of interesting, right? So social fit, all those different aspects are really important. But now we also get to the other piece that's really important, which is the financial side. And this is where Vicki can really help you figure out what makes sense.
Thanks, Eleanor. Everybody usually thinks of the financial side of going to college as starting in October 1st when FAFSA opens. But really, it's key to be strategic up front before you even apply to colleges. So that means figuring out what your expected family contribution will be, that's the EFC, and find those schools that are going to, price-wise, be a match for your family. We want to be strategic and also in reducing your EFC. Figure out ways to lower that. You know, maybe your family has a specific situation and that could be addressed. And that specific situation can include things such as job loss, especially during this time with COVID. It could be divorce or separation. It could be, unfortunately somebody's widowed. It could be if there's a medical illness. But so there are ways to be strategic, enrich the EFC of the family. But also, in addition to doing that, you want to find the schools that are likely to, if you're interested in this, find the schools that are likely to offer your child merit scholarships. So which schools might do that? Typically, the schools that are going to offer merit money will be those where your child is in, towards the top of their applicant pool. Or maybe your child wants to attend a school that's in a different area of the country and they're looking to broaden their reach and they want to attract New Yorkers. Maybe they'll offer merit money. Or maybe your child has a specific major and a school is now recently starting to offer that major. They may want to entice your child to attend their school with merit money. So there are all different reasons why a school will offer you merit money, but know that a child does not have to be a straight A student and have perfect scores on the SATs to be awarded merit money. So yeah, it's important to consider, what geographic region your child wants to attend, what type of school, meaning, a public university, a private university, a small school, a large, huge rah-rah type school. If your child has a specific interest, like, maybe they want to run track, maybe they're looking for a Division III school where they're likely to be offered merit aid. So it's important to figure out where that great fit is going to be. Also, there's something called net price calculations. So it's important to look at that too up front before committing to applying to a school, just so there's no disappointment that you would possibly not be able to afford that school should your child apply. What I think is key is for parents and children to communicate about what their goals are, what their, even how much they can afford for the cost of school. Do they think the child should take out loans or parents should take out loans if need be? Or is the goal to, find a program where there's going to be absolutely no debt? There's no right answer to that. Every family is different. Every parent and child's needs are different. But communicating upfront, even before applying to school, helps everyone stay on the same page and hopefully save money as well. Another key area, Eleanor started to touch on this, was with the honors programs and merit scholarships, and should your child take the ACTs and the SATs. So as she said, the schools are going test optional. They're not going test blind. It would be great if they were, but they're not. So if possible, have them take the test, study for the test, do well, because a lot of the schools, unfortunately, they base how much they're going to give out in merit scholarships based on test scores. And the honors programs, I think, are great. A lot of schools offer honors programs. And with the honors programs, not only do they get offered merit scholarships, but there are perks like early registration, priority housing, networking opportunities with the faculty that the regular population of students doesn't get. So I think the honors programs are wonderful. So it's key to do research before applying to schools. It's great to apply to all the names that everybody sees on a bumper sticker, but it might not be the right fit.
And, what Vicki's saying is really important to understand, because there are a lot of key aspects that you need to look at. Because once you start to build your list and you've started to narrow down your scope in terms of where your child wants to go, they're going to need to start filling out their applications. And this is the right time to be getting in there and starting. The applications come live, if you will, in August, but you can start inputting your data today into the Common App and Coalition app. Give yourself a little bit of a head start. You don't need to know the specific schools you're applying to. I can guarantee, I'm going to say 99.9% that you're going to need the Common App for at least one of the schools that your child is going to apply to. So getting in, creating your user ID, getting familiar with it early is really helpful. I've already started walking through the applications with the kids that I work with, so they know what to do. So when I think about the summer and what's really important, it's a couple of things. It's making good use of your time, right? So if you're not doing something yet, finding something for your student to do, whether it's learning something new, creating, volunteering, you want them to find something that's interesting to them, that gives them something to talk about on their application potentially, but just as something that keeps them occupied and in a good space. You want them thinking about their essay, right? And this can be tricky for kids, but really sitting down and brainstorming, who am I? What do I like to do? What are my interests? What are my talents? And being able to pull that together into, approximately 600 words for the Common App, 500 for the Coalition, right? Telling your story so that really resonates with the reader. Pulling together all your activities so you have them in one nice, neat place. Right? Prepping for the ACT or the SAT, they still think they're going to do it. I don't know. Right? The test prep tutors that I've been listening to the last few days, I'm not so sure it's going to be happening. I've been in a conference with a number of people who do what I do for a living. We've been doing it virtually for the last few days, and it's been really interesting to get the take from these really well-known test prep organizations. And even today, one of the places that you should go if you're interested in finding out which schools are on the test optional list is a website called fairtest.org. You will see a list of all the schools that have gone test optional, and if they are only test optional for this year or for a longer period of time. And then really spending the time to build your college list and identifying the schools that make sense. So College Board has a really nice website that you can use to start looking for some schools. It's called Big Future. It's one place to get some basic information. There are tons of places out there, but I think that's an easy one to look at. Right? So, think about it from your child needs to think, what's important to them? Where do they want to go? What are they looking for? Now, I know a number of you have joined us since we got started in the, with the presentation. If you're not already aware of this, there's a feature on your screen. It's called chat. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a series of icons. You can click on chat. We're going to open it up to questions at this point. If there's anything specific that you'd like to know about the process, about what your students should be doing, in terms of anything with the SAT, ACT, financial, Vicki and I are here to help you through this. I spend a lot of time with my clients. I start with them up front, understanding who they are so they can write their essays, they can start getting into their applications, but we spend a lot of time talking about what schools make sense. And I know Vicki does the same thing with her clients in addition to helping with the financial piece, right, and filling out the forms. So there's a lot of prep work that can happen now, but
Right now is definitely the time to find the schools that are going to fit into the family's budget, but yet also, fit for the child academically and socially as well.
So just leave it open as you think about what questions you might have. You can see that I just typed into the chat. Please type your questions here so you can see where it's at. Vicki and I will share this presentation with you later so that you'll have all the information. We'll email it to you. I'm also putting into the chat the fairtest.org is one of the websites that you can go to see what's happening in terms of the test optional schools. Okay. So this is Vicki and our information. We said we will email it to you so you'll have it from both of us. This is how you can get in contact with us. I'm going to let you still think a little bit if there are any questions that you want to ask. But both of us have blogs where we write about current events, things that are happening right now. If you take a look at my blog, you'll see information about all the things that are happening with COVID, what the implications are, test optional. You will also see what you should be doing at different times. And Vicki, the kinds of things that you put on your blog.
Yeah, well, actually, what I was just about to say was today, we've been focusing just on what everyone should be doing right now. There are many other phases of what happens during the course of the year. So, just know that this is a small piece of the puzzle. Come the fall, I know that I'll be busy with financial aid forms with FAFSA and CSS profile. And, and then it goes on from there and, with appeals and student loans and everything everybody needs, on the financial side.
All right, so with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you found this useful. Please feel free to reach out to both of us for any kind of questions that you might have. We're happy to answer your questions. You can reach us by email, by text, and we look forward to speaking.